Hi, my name is Todd. This is my 1973 914 1.7. I bought this car three and a half years ago without really a plan. I just started dissecting it and trying to think of what I was going to do with it. Well, it turns out the whole car came apart. So I decided to do a full ground up restoration. And in that restoration mode, some things had to be replaced. So I figured it would be easier to make some of these parts than to buy them. And I thought it would be pretty cool too. I've always been into Porsches. This is the first 914 I've ever had. I have a 944 right now. I've had a Boxster S. I love both the cars. This is a different animal. This is pretty much a race-bred design. The mid-engine design is what Porsche really wanted to do with a race car. But this is a entry-level, beginning to not be an entry level because the prices of them are going up. But I paid $7,000 for this car, and it was a driver. The car came from the West Coast. I bought it in Lancaster, PA, close to my home. My plans for it are to make kind of a Canyon Carver type cars, sportly driven street car. I don't do any of the racing things, but I do like a spirited drive every once in a while. What I'd like to show you is what I'm doing custom-wise on this car. I think it might be pretty interesting. I'd like to start with some of the features that I added to the car. First of all, I talk about the color. I wanted something a little different, something that was Porsche, something that was old Porsche but was never done on a 914 from the factory. I'm not saying they were never done privately, but so I picked a 60s slate gray color. What prompted me to do that was the Porsche 911 in Steve McQueen's movie, Le Mans, that was in the beginning of the movie that Chad, I believe, still has. The color, it's an unusual color. When you see this color in the sunlight, it has a green hue to it. The true slate gray has a really nice green hue. So that's why I picked this. I'm also doing some orange accents with it. I think that goes well with the slate gray color. We'll talk about some of the little Easter eggs, I call them, on this car. First of all, my son and I were at a Porsche event, and I saw some of the new Porsches, and they had the inlaid emblem. I wanted an inlaid emblem. So what we did, a gentleman that I'm working with, Brunner Design, we made a die for this. So we stamped this, and there you have it. It was actually very easy, but I just think it's really a nice touch for this car. It also adds the orange accents. We also are going through the hood fuel fill. We made the collar, which is welded up underneath here, and actually rounded off pretty nicely. We made almost everything for this car ourselves. We didn't want to really buy off the shelf. We wanted this to be a little different. Another thing we did when we flared the rear fender, I decided not to flare the front fender. But in doing that, we had a rib that stuck up here like this. We filled this rib in so it would match the rear fender a little bit better, and I think it really, really adds to the look of this car. I wasn't going for a GT look, or I would have gone with the fenders up front. I just wanted the wider look in the back kind of narrowed down to the front. Another thing we did, these hubs, I stayed with the 914 suspension. So in order to get a bigger ribbed brake in here, we had to figure out a way to get a 5-lug set up here. What we did, I bought 944 hubs. We made a inset for both the 914 bearings on the front and the back, and pressed those in, and made these, actually machined these and made these work for this car. We have the turbo tie rod ends, the 930 turbo tie rod ends. This car never had a yeah, this car never had a sway bar, so we added a sway bar. Here's a little orange I'm adding. I don't want to put too much in. I don't want to overdo the orange, but I added this up here. Another thing we did, we made our own rockers, because the rockers that were available either had both the flares or they had no flares. So we made our own rockers, and we also I added a splitter on the bottom. I thought that was a nice little touch. Now in the back, what we did, we had to do a little body work in the back here. We had a little rust happening, so I replaced this whole back panel. We'll show you that in a little while. We added the metal flares. These are all steel flares, and we made a custom spoiler on the back. Now this spoiler matches. I wanted it to match the front spoiler of the car. I wanted it to have the same lines as the front spoiler. In making this rear panel fit, I closed these light gaps up, and we added the RS style lights to it. I thought it was a nice touch. It was just something a little different. Another thing we did in the back here is this area. People know 914s was a screen. This had a screen, like an air breathing screen, to match the screen that went across here. I filled these in. I made these panels, filled these in, just for a different look. What else can I show you here? The interior. What we're doing here is doing a little orange in here. We did a little Nardi sport wheel. We also did a tunnel for this car. What we're going to do with this tunnel is we're going to have a gated shift. We're going to make a gated shift plate for this once we know the exact path of the shift. The car is going to be a 2.5 liter. It was a 1.7. We're going to stroke it a little bit. We're going to use 2.0 heads that are going to be poured and polished a little bit, bigger valves. We also, I'm going to show you this front spoiler up front here. I don't have the bumper on yet, but this spoiler actually came with the car. Which was kind of unusual, but I really like it. It has a little hole there for some brake cooling. And that's what I kind of modeled the spoiler in the rear after. Thanks for watching our first video. We'd like to keep everyone posted on my progress. We're looking at about an 8-month build yet. We're gonna bring you guys right up to the street with it. And then hopefully it'll continue after that. But let us know what you think of the video. And please watch out for our other ones. Thank you.